Which Medicare plan is right for you? We're going to take a look at that. This is Bob Vineyard, your Medicare expert with the Georgia Medicare Minute. Most of the folks that I talk to that are turning 65 have already pretty much made up their mind that they want original Medicare and a supplement plan, but every once in a while I run into folks that are still trying to figure out which way I should go. Well, I'm going to share some information with you that you probably haven't heard from people you talk to, from agents you talk to, and you probably haven't discovered it anywhere in your research. So let's take a look at that. First, let's look at the Medicare Advantage plans. With Medicare Advantage, you get your benefits from a private insurance company. The Medicare Advantage plans are regulated by Medicare, and you do have to maintain Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. But Medicare, original Medicare, is not involved in providing your benefits or paying your claims. You've got to go to the insurance company for that. In Georgia, over half the plans, the Medicare Advantage plans, do not have a premium. They're called zero premium plans or no premium plans. And if you're mystified about that, you're not the only one. A lot of people wonder, how can they give me something and not charge me a premium? Well, the answer should be obvious. You're going to pay somewhere else. And it's that somewhere else we're going to talk about. Okay, most of them, all of them, are managed care plans. Over half are HMO. HMO simply means that you've got a much smaller network. If you're like your doctor, tough, you probably can't keep your doctor because a lot of doctors don't take Medicare Advantage plans at all. And some of them will take PPO plans, but not HMO. So that's something to keep in mind. The HMO plans have smaller networks. They have a lot tighter rules. If you color outside the lines and use somebody that is not in network, there's a good chance that claim may not be paid. So just kind of keep that in mind. If it's emergency, then yeah, they'll generally cover it, but don't count on that. If you have a PPO plan, then you can go outside of network. You can color outside the lines, but you'll probably pay more. And you could be balance billed in some of these situations. So again, just kind of keep these things in mind. Another thing to consider is access to health care. Nobody ever talks about this. Nobody ever talks about this. They just say, oh yeah, all your doctors are in network and you can just go wherever you want and all this kind of stuff. Yes, you can go anywhere you want. But if you want to minimize your out-of-pocket costs, you better make sure that the people that you're dealing with, the doctors, the hospitals, and so forth, are in network. Also, if you need specialty care, I'm still talking about Medicare Advantage. I haven't talked about original Medicare and supplement plans yet. But with Medicare Advantage plans, if you need specialty care from places like Mayo Clinic, Sloan Kettering, Cleveland Clinic, MD Anderson, some of these places that really specialize in certain types of care, either related to cardiac issues or cancer, most of those places do not take Medicare Advantage plans. So you're going to have to get your care somewhere else most of the time. If that's an issue with you, okay. If it's not, well, it's not. I mean, that's just the way it is. The Medicare Advantage plans, that especially the ones that do not charge you a premium, have other ways of shifting the cost over to you and away from them. Notably, they can shrink the network. If you thought it was small this year, well, look at next year, it's going to be even smaller. Doctors that are in network this year may not be in network next year. Something else to consider. Your co-pays can go up from one year to the next, in some cases substantially. Now, Medicare does cap your out-of-pocket expenses for Medicare Advantage. Most of the ones in Georgia are capped at $6,700 per calendar year. That is only for in-network approved charges. Out-of-network charges are something different. So, these are things to think of. Now let's look at original Medicare and a supplement plan. Original Medicare has no networks. You can go anywhere. You don't have to worry about referrals. You don't have to worry about pre-authorization, pre-certification. It's basically your health care is determined by you and your doctor. Medicare does not intervene in that situation. With Medicare, Original Medicare, you have unfettered access to health care, including all those places that I mentioned earlier. Mayo Clinic, Sloan Kettering, MD Anderson, all of these places that offer specialty care also take Medicare. Any place that takes Medicare will also take your Medicare supplement plan, regardless of the carrier. The Medicare supplement plans, also known as Medigap, are all standardized. The plan design is based on specifications from Medicare. All of the G plans, that's the most popular plan currently in 2020. All the G plans are identical in every way. The only difference is the premium you pay, not only going in but also through renewal. Okay, the Medicare supplement plans in 2020 will pay your Medicare Part A deductible. They will not pay your Part B deductible. That's for outpatient health care. In 2020, it's $198. That's a calendar year deductible. Next year, the deductible will change, as will your premium, your Medicare Part B premium. And also premiums can change on Medicare supplement plans. One of the things that I caution folks about is a lot of times they'll say when they're doing it themselves, well, all of the G plans are the same. Why don't I just pick the one with the lowest premium? You can certainly do that. But a plan that has the lowest premium today may not have the lowest premium next year. That particular carrier may not even be writing coverage in Georgia within 3 years. New carriers that come into the state, even those that are affiliated with a big household name carrier, often do not stay here more than about 3 years. When they leave, your rates are subject to going up at a faster clip than they would have if they were still writing business. It's not unusual for a carrier to pull out of the state, and you can keep your coverage as long as you pay your premium, but you might want to look for double-digit rate increases, 10, 12, 15%. I've seen some as high as 22%. So you can have some pretty hefty rate increases if you pick a carrier that decides to leave the state after you buy it. I recommend carriers. Currently, there are almost 60 carriers that are writing Medicare business in Georgia. This is June of 2020, including some that have only been in the business for a few weeks. The carrier is old. It's been around for a number of years, 80 years or longer, but it only got in the Medicare business a few weeks ago. Do you really want somebody like that? Probably not. My benchmark is I like to look at carriers that have been in the Medicare market in Georgia under the same name for at least 5 years. That rules out about 95% of the carriers that are currently writing business here. So watch out. The carriers that I tend to recommend they've all been here 5 years or longer, and there are some that have been here 25 to 40 years. So you've got some tenure there. Another thing to look out for, people want to know, well, what are the rate increases going to be? Well, I can't tell you. Nobody can tell you. If somebody says, well, this carrier only has 3% rate increases per year, they're lying to you because they don't know. They're just saying something to make you want to buy from them. If that's what you want to do, you go right ahead. But you can't predict rate increases. I can tell you there is at least one carrier out there. Most of the carriers will only raise rates at renewal. That's once a year. There's at least one carrier out there that will raise your rates twice a year in some cases. They have a trend increase. They also have a policy anniversary increase. If they happen to fall on the same date, the same month, then okay, you get a double increase, but you only get it one time. If your policy anniversary is different from the trend adjustment, then you can get 2 rate increases a year. ask how many times they can raise your rates. It might be important to you, especially if you're trying to budget for this. Also, there's a carrier out there, several carriers that offer discounts. Most of the discounts are household discounts, which simply means that you need to have you have to have a spouse or a partner that also has Medicare coverage through that particular company, in which case you can get a discount anywhere. Some of them are around 5%, others are a little bit more than that. There's a carrier that will discount your rates regardless of whether you got a spouse in it or not, but they will discount your rates up to 30% the first year that you're on the plan. Sounds pretty generous, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, but keep in mind that that's a temporary discount because they add that discount back in at your policy renewal. Now, doesn't come all at once, but they do add a portion of that discount back in, which means that you've got a rate increase because they gave you a 30% discount the first year, and then you also have a trend increase. So, again, these folks that start telling you that, they have the lowest rate increases of anybody around, yeah, just don't buy into all that. Okay, that's enough for now. It's enough to kind of get you interested and wondering, what else are they not telling me? If you got questions, give me a call. I have my offer you can't refuse. I'll spend 10 minutes on the phone with you answering any Medicare questions. If you like what you hear, we'll continue talking, and hopefully I'll earn a right to your business. If you don't like what I'm telling you, we hang up and part as friends. It's not personal, it's just business, but that is my offer you can't refuse. So, this is Bob Vineyard, your Medicare expert with the Georgia Medicare Minute. You take care and have a great day.